did. And maybe they like it, maybe they love it. Either way, the process is trusted. Maybe they hate it and think you're the worst person ever. Let them think what they will. Thinking about some poems, thinking about community. Just like, it's weird. It's weird. I watched this video earlier. I don't like to name the creators I watch sometimes, because then there's like this idea, and I've seen it, so this is just from experience, that if you like one thing about a creator, you like everything about them. And there's this thought that people don't think critically, so there's just the assumptions that I get irritated by. But I watched this creator who was speaking about like the hood as a concept. Like, is there anything good coming from the hood? I mean, good people come from, and not even the hood, but just environments that aren't set to benefit, or like the environments that are like toxic, inherently toxic at times. And I don't know, like, it's a mixed bag for me, because I wrote the book I Met God in the Gutter, and sometimes I have this like immense gratitude for going through turbulent situations and being able to find light in them, and like seeing the glasses half full. But I also have to acknowledge what the glass is, and I have to acknowledge who poured the water in it, and like who's keeping it so that it's not full, and keeping it so that it's not overflowing, right? Like, I've been able to overcome depression. I've been able to overcome suicidal ideations. I've been able to grieve friends who lost their life early. Earliest time I remember somebody losing their life was a classmate of mine was playing with a gun and he died. I've been able to overcome these immense moments of trauma, essentially. But my thought as of late is like, what if I never had to deal with that? Like, I I think that our experiences are valid both ways. Like, when I am blessed to have children, I would like it so that they don't have to go through those traumas, so that they can overcome a lot of the turbulence that I face. And it's interesting because my dad and my mother, they saw worse things than I did. So that has always been funny to me, to think about all these things that I feel are the worst things ever, and to hear like my pops say on the way to school, he would see a sign that said, by the age of 21, most black men are dead. Like, most black men don't make it past 21. This is what my father said on the way to school. So like, as much, like I said, as much as I complain, I also got to be acknowledge and recognize the hurdles that and the obstacles in the way of the people that brought me into this space. But I'm not like proud of dysfunction to the point where like I want to shame somebody else who didn't have a dysfunctional life. I think that if you're blessed to grow up in a community where you don't hear gunshots and you're not hearing police sirens every night, don't go seek it out. Don't come to the hood looking for some adventure. Like, you got plenty of adventure right where you at. Go hiking if you want some adventure. But I just think about that. Like, I'm from a city where we expect people to get killed. Like, there's some type of expectation that people will die. And it's to the point where if you go certain places at a certain hour and something happens to you, people look at you like, why would you go there? Rather than like, why isn't the space safer? Like, that's always boggled my mind. Like, a woman going out to party and have a good time being taken advantage of, like, oh, what was she wearing? What? Like, why was anybody there taking advantage of her? What are we missing? Right? So again, it's like, we had poor hygiene, we had poor diet at times. And I'm grateful for the people who educated us on nutrition. But like, we got milk signs in the cafeteria, and like I guess that's a standard for youth, but like milk wasn't that healthy for us. Like we got milk, cheese, burgers, and white bread with like a side of steamed carrots and steamed broccoli. Like I wouldn't feed that to an animal. Like, and I've seen the things that people feed to animals. I'm like, wow, that dog got a good plate right there. So like milk, a chocolate milk, Lord knows when it was actually supposed to expire, right? A chocolate milk with a cheeseburger. So it's cheese, some random mystery meat, because it really didn't taste like beef all the time. Again, broccoli, that's just watery mush. Maybe an applesauce, maybe a cup of fruit, you know, if you're lucky. Maybe a little fake salad, a little lettuce with some shredded carrots. Like these are the meals, and like the extras that I'm talking about might not have been on the plate. It's interesting. Like America as a concept is really funny to me. I've been blessed to have gone to different countries, especially like when I was young. I got to go to Germany like twice as I was growing up. So I went to Germany when I was like 10 or 11, whatever 5th grade is. In 5th grade, I'm going to Germany with my dad and my 2 younger siblings, and we're going to go meet our youngest brother, which is like a total culture shock, right? So I'm in Germany. They're already recycling. I was born in 96, so if I'm saying 5th grade, if it's 10, I'm out of Germany in like 2006. They're already recycling. They're already like putting public transportation before driving. Like you're better off doing public transportation. My dad takes us out on the Autobahn. There's a highway dedicated to you doing 200 miles per hour. It's dedicated to you doing whatever speed is possible to get where you're going, right? Most of the like things, most of the drinks are given in glassware. So like there's glass bottles to drink out of rather than the plastic. So there's already less of a reason to have like litter in the streets, because they have recycling receptacles at just about every space, and they have special designations for your glassware. And glass is clearly better than plastic, right? So there's like these things that are instilled in their society that I'm witnessing firsthand, like as a 5th grader. And I'm from Baltimore, Maryland. I'm from Baltimore. I'm driving through my city right now. I'm from Baltimore, in Germany, witnessing like how life could be. So that's boggling my mind. We go on the public transportation, and like there's not like a weird energy. It's like, okay, people are just actually going about their day. Like there's a businessman here, there's a student, like it's pretty decent. And again, this is perfect. I'm not going for perfect, but I'm just witnessing some things that I don't see where I'm from. These references are opening my mind. H&M has clothes for men. In 2006, I didn't know them to have clothes for men. I didn't know they were a German manufacturer and clothing space. So I'm like, wow, like this is really dope. I get a hoodie. I have an H&M hoodie in 2006. Pumas are really big, clearly because I'm in Germany, right? Adidas, really big. I'm like, wow, like I'm getting it straight from the source. And just this moment of these references that I'm getting in this moment and in this space, I just opening my eyes like, yo, like we didn't have to be super rich to experience this. Like my dad's in the military and he's a police officer, and my mom's a hairstylist, and he had an opportunity to take us to another country through the military, and like we're there, just existing. And we meet my brother's mother, and she's a German woman, like all the way German, like blonde hair, blue eyes, German. And she's living in a space that I'm like, this is really neat. Like her space is really like simple and composed, and like they go to the market every day. Everything is accessible within the neighborhoods they live in. It's all of these little things. There's shops all around. And it's really tight packed. This is Heidelberg. We're in Heidelberg, Germany. And just all these things I'm witnessing, right? I witnessed all of this, and I didn't mention, as we were going to Germany, we made some stops. We had some layovers. So we had a layover in Spain, and Spain was amazing. Like, we go to the beach in Spain, and like the water's clear. I think it was Rota, Spain. Had a layover in Rota, Spain, and then we had another layover in a part of Italy. I'm not sure what part of Italy, but like I could see a big mountain. So maybe that's Mount Vesuvius. I might not be right about that, but whatever mountain is in Italy, we could see it from where we were staying. Had pizza that, like, I ordered the pepperoni, and the pepperoni was not what I was expecting. It wasn't Pizza Hut. It wasn't Papa John's. Like I'm saying, I'm having these experiences. I'm tasting the food. I'm hearing the language. I'm seeing how they live. In 5th grade, boom, just eyes wide open. I come back to the States, and like the air irritates me. Like everything just seems like, and it's nastier now to me, because what I'm sitting with and recognizing is a lot of the things that suck here are by choice. It's not like people who have money and have opportunities outside of this space don't know about what Germany looks like. It's not like they're unaware of what it could be. It's like this by choice, because some people are only great if somebody else is horrible. Some people can only make themselves feel good about their wealth or their lifestyle if somebody else's lifestyle is so, like, so traumatic, so broken, so nasty that it just, I don't know, it's like they eat trauma for breakfast. Like, they eat the pain of others for breakfast. I'm just like, what is this? Like, even to think about, I posted this TikTok that a young lady put up about the TikTok ban. She was like, there's so many other things that actually need to be taken care of that are not being taken care of, but they have agreed to do a ban on TikTok. The things that need to be taken care of, right? Like homelessness as an issue, the hostility in like public spaces, the lack of dirt spaces for youth and adults, like the way a certain architecture set up so that homeless people can't just like lay on the ground if they have to. The mental health crisis, which is directly impacting the homelessness, because much of the homeless population is dealing with mental health issues. And what's even wilder is like most of us as a culture are like one paycheck away from not having most of the things we have in our lives. So just boom, like references. I'm big on references. I was blessed to have a family that wasn't like trying to be anything they weren't. Just very conscious of other ways of living, other styles of music. Like, it's more than hip hop. I love hip hop. I love rap music, but like, there's R&B, there's R&B and soul, there's folk music, there's country music, there's like a lot of other styles of music that Black people have participated in. Like Aaron Neville. Like Aaron Neville's an awesome musician of jazz. There is no hip hop without jazz. Bebop, like these other styles of music. And even when I think of rock music, like Prince, I'm listening to Prince as a kid. I like Prince more than Michael Jackson as a kid, and like shout out to Michael Jackson too. But references, I think that's the wealth. Not only do I think it, I know it. That's the wealth. Knowledge is the wealth. What references are we putting youth onto? What references do we put ourselves onto as we talk about concepts like generational wealth? The wealth that my father's given me, the wealth that my mother's given me is through their stories. When I know about what Baltimore was in the 90s, and then like going to do my own research and talking to the people that raised my parents. And they tell me stories about Baltimore in the 80s and the 70s. And then I get a clear perspective of why things are as they are in this moment. It's like a lot of the conversations end at it is what it is. And it's like, it is what it is for a reason. And like, I want to know the reason that it is. I like to know why. I don't like this concept of just like accept it for what it is at face value. So yes, I'm in a couple different spaces mentally, but the reference part. I'm from a city where my reference for a while coming up was that I'm less than, or that if I'm mad, I gotta solve it through violence, or I'm supposed to be scared of people that look like me. Somebody might have a gun in this space. Black people don't support black people. I gotta be conscious or cautious of people that look like me. This is what I was raised on. And this ain't just in spaces that didn't want us there. This is in space, this is in the hood. Like, you've been taught to be cautious of each other in the hood. It's just constant vigilance. Like, it's psychiatric studies and psychological studies that prove it, but I didn't need those to understand that was a problem. I didn't need the empirical data. I didn't need the studies to know that, like, constantly feeling like you're unsafe is gonna be problematic over time. And if you don't do the proper healing, you may show up in spaces where there are no problems, but you see problems. I found problems in spaces that were not problematic. That's nasty. Because my lenses were dirty. And I'd seen a lot. I've been through a lot. So back to what I started with. I'm not a fan of, I went through it so somebody else can too. I don't like that. I don't want that for my children, and I don't want that for other members of my community. I went through it. I hope nobody ever has to after me. I went through it. I hope nobody ever has to after me. I hope that these cycles end with me. I hope that these cycles don't carry over into the next generation. I don't want another generation that had to deal with, like, identity issues. Have to deal with, like, having to affirm themselves so much that they belittle somebody else's situation. Like, you're good enough as you are. You are enough. You matter. And it shouldn't have to be this thing of, like, and have to fight to matter. I mean, you do. I like my suds, you know. You do have to fight to matter at this point. So I do it, right? I'm not saying I don't want to. I mean, I don't want to. I'm not saying I'm not going to if I have to. I just think about that. I think about that. Because I've heard that. I've heard people say, like, man, if it wasn't for the hood, it's like, well, if it wasn't for your tenacity, if it wasn't for your resilience. A lot of times when people overcome tough situations in life, they ignore all the ways that they are, in fact, an anomaly. They are not the standard. Like, I'm not the standard. I'm an anomaly. If I didn't go to Germany in 5th grade, and again in 10th grade, I went to Germany in 5th grade and in 10th grade. If I didn't go to Germany twice, if I didn't join the Boy Scouts, if I didn't excel in school in a lot of different ways, I don't think my name just gave me those opportunities. I don't think those opportunities just sought me out. I recognize it as a blessing. I recognize it as people made space for me. People made it so that I wasn't another statistic. They allowed me to be the anomaly that I am. Like, that's what I get lost on, where it becomes this thing of, like, I'm the reason. Like, no. Like, I don't want anybody else to make me feel special in that way. God already made me feel special enough. I accept, I acknowledge all the people that make me possible. I acknowledge the parts of my community that made sacrifices so I could have more. I was blessed to be a Ben Carson scholar when I was in elementary school. I had $1,000 set aside for me while I'm going through elementary school for college one day. I had $1,000 set aside for college already because of a scholarship I won in elementary school or maybe early middle school. But regardless of the concept, like that alone, everybody have access to that. All right? So when I acknowledge that, I have a different set of gratitude, and I also have a different set of desires. Like I desire, and I have this feeling of responsibility when it comes to giving people what I was given, making those spaces for people that have situations like mine. I just think about all of these little moments where it was like, thank you, God. Thank you, God, for allowing me to see more and be more. And I'm from Baltimore. We don't really call it be more. But thank you for all of these moments. Thank you for allowing me to be greater than my environment. Thank you for allowing me to give greater to my environment. Like showing up as I do. I get to be a yoga instructor. I get to be a speaker who says things that uplift people's lives. I get to write a book. Thank you for allowing me to be this person. Thank you. I'm grateful. Above all else. And I just, like I said, I think about that. I think about how much of it is above me. It's out of my hands. I had anger issues early on in school. Like elementary school, I had anger issues to the point of getting kicked out of the classroom for fighting, getting suspended. I had amazing grades, so they had to make a way for me. But if my grades weren't as great as they were, if I wasn't an exceptional student, if I wasn't mannerly, if I didn't have the manners that made my teachers say that there's more to this kid, what would it have been like? And I don't even want to find out. I've had some moments, and by the grace of God, through his mercy, I've been blessed to be more. Even when people want me to be so much less than what I am. I've been blessed to be more. So as I said, I'm grateful. I'm thankful. I'm going to cut this one off, probably start another one. And I just want anybody out there to know that, like, you are capable of far more than you have been told, and that you know. Like, the blessing of faith, walking by faith and not by sight, is that God has some things for us that are far greater than the things we can imagine based on what we learn in the world. The world will show us one thing, and God is like, I know what you're seeing out there. The big lesson in life isn't $1 million. I would like to have some millions at some point. I would like to accumulate that much so I could do great works, right? I already believe I do great works. Like, I don't believe I'm short of doing great works, but I would like to accumulate some dollars at some point, you know, some massive dollars. But as I sit with it, like, there are far greater blessings. Impact is a blessing like no other. Being able to give back without having the millions. Because there's plenty of people with millions that are not living that life. But there are also plenty of people with millions that show up and give like so much to community and so much love and make so many opportunities possible. So, like, both sides of the coin. It's just like these understandings, right? What do you have in this moment that you can do so much with? Because what you do with the little is very indicative of what you'll do with the lots, with the mass, with your mass. So like I said, thank you for watching. I hope you have a beautiful day. Stay safe and stay positive. One day made better, as many days made greater. I'm uplifting you to be in a world that cares. If I keep it to myself, I think that's unfair. The joys I've been given are best when shared. Visionaries never die, legends survive. Through the seeds we sow daily, we get better with time. I'm wishing you peace, prosperity, and many blessings. Be love, love others. Yes, yes. Built in private, blessed in public. Bip, bip.